everyone, so I'm just going to start off by saying this is probably going to be a really long video, but it does go in depth. And this is all about maternity care costs and like labor and delivery costs. I know a lot of videos I've seen, or even blogs, mostly on costs of having a baby are just on after they're here and the things you'll need to buy for them. But I haven't seen many on the maternity, pregnancy care side, or even the labor and delivery, which is really important to know if you're having to pay either all of it out of pocket or even a copay. The prices that you're paying is really good to know, and they do come at a premium, let me tell you. Yeah, they're really expensive, but if you have really good insurance like we do, I mean, it's not as bad as having to pay it all out of pocket, but the prices are still really good to know. Oh, I thought I had to sneeze. Anyway, so I know a lot of people on blogs I've seen are kind of scared to call their doctor and ask for prices, or very afraid to call their hospital and ask for prices on anything that you might end up using or needing there at the hospital. But I am not afraid of doing that. I mean, we're going to be paying for it, so I'd like to know what we're paying for. So I do have a very comprehensive list, and I legitimately ask them everything. So yeah, I will get into it and try and keep it a little bit shorter than maybe me rambling. So the first thing I did was I called my insurance company to find a preferred provider from them, which does lower the price a bit for us from out of network to in network. So I did find a OB. I can't have a midwife for this one, since I had Lex early and I did have complications and stuff. I am considered just high risk pregnancy in general, so I automatically get pushed out of like any midwife care that I could have had if I had a normal delivery with her, to now I'm considered just high risk in general, so I have to go to an OB, which I guess is fine. But yeah, so I found one that I really like. I did call him, get a consultation. He sounds really awesome. He's willing to do pretty much whatever I would like to have for a birth, and as far as pregnancy goes, he's definitely willing to kind of work with you and do exactly what you want. But anyway, prices go for our clinic, which our clinic and a hospital is separate. You don't have either or, like you can't just go to the hospital and have an OB there. They don't have them. So the OBs are separate in a clinic. So the clinic I'm going to has a $300 deposit if you go over your deductible for your insurance, which you definitely will. So it's kind of another way for them to make money, but it's good to know. So $300 deposit, put that down on the price. And then they have what they call a global fee for normal 10 visits up to a maximum of 13 visits if you're considered high risk, which includes the doctor's fee for a vaginal birth, and it includes the vaginal birth and everything needed for that on the doctor's side. So that's $4,860. Now, ultrasound and labs are billed separately, so they're between $250 to $400 per ultrasound. Labs are a little bit cheaper. They're between $75 to $150. So I tacked in, with Lex, I had one big ultrasound, and then I had, I think, 3 lab works done. But I put it into, since I am high risk, an average of 3 ultrasounds and 2 labs. Every urine lab that you get done each visit is tacked into the normal visits, by the way, so that is not a separate fee, which would be very expensive. So I tacked on $1,200 for all of that. Now that comes down to $6,360 just for pregnancy care. Like the maternity care, that is just for that. Now, you also have to pay hospital fees when you deliver at the hospital, obviously. The doctor does go to the hospital in order to deliver, and his fees are already covered by you. But all of the equipment that they need, all of the other stuff you need, like the room and stuff, you pay for separately. So for that, the room fee is between $200 to $1,000 per night, and that's kind of a big gap. But the woman said she couldn't give me all exact prices because the hospital fees are based on a case-by-case basis, at ours anyway. So it could be $1,000 per night, it could be $250 per night, I don't know. I did, however, just go with the maximum, like the $1,000 per night, in case I had to get everything done, which in my cost breakdown I did account for a C-section if I did need it, and I will get onto that too. For the epidural, if I would want one, even for a natural birth, it can be up to $1,000 just for the drug, like just for the drug. The tray and anything used to sterilize can also be up to an extra $1,000, which is crazy, but it's what they break it down into. You also have to pay the anesthesiologist's fee for inserting said drug, which is also up to another $1,000. And then any outpatient drugs that you need after you have your baby, like any pain medication, or if you need anything for any complications you had, that is based on your insurance or the specific drug if you don't have insurance. So I can't really give you a price on that because I don't know. Our insurance pays for all prescriptions, so I mean, we wouldn't have to pay for that. So if you do, it could be very expensive per prescription that you have. The next thing is if I were to have a C-section, that could be up to $6,000. However, the woman did tell me that normally for a C-section, it's between $2,000 to $3,000 extra, just because you end up getting the epidural anyway. So as far as that, it's only $3,000 to $4,000 more. Well, no, $2,000 to $3,000 more than just getting the epidural, which isn't that bad. So I accounted for all $6,000 just to be on the safe side. And then for the baby, you have the neonatal testing, which is obviously after they're born. They have to do the I forget what it's called. The testing where they check the breathing, the sounds, the motion, all kinds of stuff like that. That could be up to $1,000. And you also pay for the diapers, you have to pay for the wipes, you have to pay for the clothes they put them on, or they put on them, you have to pay for, they also get a room fee for that little cart that they put the little cradle on. You also pay for that too. But that's also on case-by-case basis, but the baby needs, like the cradle, the clothes and stuff are just kind of a set price because everybody gets one of those with their baby while they're in the hospital. So she told me that that is an extra $500, so that's expensive. And then obviously the diapers, the wipes and stuff, we are not going to be using. We are going to be cloth diapering from the start. Like, they're not ever going to be in disposables, which is something that we have done with Lex. She's been in disposables, as everybody knows. But with this one, they're not going to be in disposables. They're not going to have anything like that touch them. So that's going to be a fee we're getting rid of. So that brings the total for all of the hospital fees to a grand total of $12,000 just for the hospital fee. So if you add all of that together, that's $18,360, or $18,360 if we didn't have insurance. Now, that's also accounting for a C-section and complications that may have arisen during pregnancy. So I literally planned for the top scenario, like the worst case scenario I planned for. So $18,360 worst case scenario here in Wyoming. However, with our insurance, that does bump it down quite a bit. So we have only, a minuscule amount to pay out of pocket. But the thing that goes along with that is if there is no complications and there is no C-section, it is even less. Like, it brings it down to, let's see, what was it? $4,000 if there's no complications. Like, that's a huge amount. So if there's no complication, no C-section, the whole grand total is under $10,000, which even smaller amount if you know. So that is really good, and we're super pleased with this cost breakdown. We were actually expecting it to be a lot more. In Denver, I did call around before we actually got pregnant with Lex. In Denver, the average cost that we were looking at to have a baby without insurance, without Medicaid or anything like that, was fairly more expensive, which I guess is to be expected in a big city. Well, I mean, right now we live in a smaller town than Denver, obviously. So that's what we're looking at for price maternity care wise, and then obviously you have to tack on prices for like any newborn diapers that we're buying, like cloth diapers. However, I do have a separate cloth diapering video that we're going to be doing for the newborn baby that I'm pretty sure not many of you have thought of yet. So yeah, stay tuned for that. It should be uploaded later today after I get it done. So I will talk to you guys later, and I really hope this helps you kind of figure out what kind of cost you're looking into. And if you definitely have any questions, go ahead and put them down below. I will help out as much as I can. I am not afraid to call places and anything like that, but I'm not calling any places for you. That's all up to you. Alright, bye guys.